This dictation is going to range in speeds 150 to 170. I am Ms. Hope, attorney for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I am the court.
I am Mr. McNeil, attorney for the defendant.
And it begins with a question by Ms. Hope. Deputy Kavanaugh, looking at the remainder of the items that I took out of the envelope that Deputy Mackey gave me, are any of these other checks related to the file that you analyzed?
These are additional photocopies in various sizes and color contrast from the copy of the file that was supplied by the branch to Deputy Mackey.
Now, have you examined those documents that I now marked for identification?
Yes, I have.
And assuming the same person signed these documents, the two driver's licenses marked as People's 77 and 76, the booking slip marked as People's 74, fingerprint cards marked as 73 and 72. Did you notice any variations in those handwriting signatures, those signatures?
I object to the form of the question.
In what respect?
It is vague. Assuming that they were signed by the same person, does he notice any differences?
Deputy Mackey will be testifying that she's observed the defendant, Darrell McConnell, sign those signatures.
The objection is overruled. It does not include People's 75 at this point, and I understand it. You may continue.
Sorry?
Objection overruled.
Thank you. Did you notice any variations?
Yes, I did. I noticed normal variation when I compared the Darrell McConnell signatures to each other. We're talking about the exemplars compared to each other. I did see normal variation.
Were you able to render an opinion whether or not the same person signed all of those documents?
Yes, I was.
Objection. Vague and ambiguous as to which document?
72, 73, 74, 76, and 77.
Yes, thank you. What was that opinion?
That they were, in fact, signed by the same person.
Did you take a photo of those known handwriting exemplars?
Yes, I did.
Do you have that photo with you today?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, may this photograph, which appears to be the signatures on the fingerprint cards, number 72, 73, and the booking slip marked as 74, be People's next in order?
Yes, marked as People's 78.
Yes, thank you. And I have what appears to be an enlargement of the driver's license dated October the 7th, 2010, which is People's 77, I believe. May the photograph be marked as 79 at this time?
Yes, People's 79.
Showing you People's 78. What is that a photograph of?
This is a photograph of the exemplars that I took during my examination of the documents.
Which exemplars?
The blue copy of the booking slip, People's 74, and the two fingerprint cards, People's 72 and 73.
What is People's 79? What is in that photograph?
People's 79 is the photograph that I took of the California driver's license that was dated October the 7th, 2010.
Did you also, in evaluating this evidence, did you compare the handwriting on People's 76, that driver's license dated March 29th, 2012, with the driver's license marked as 77, which is October the 7th, 2010?
Yes, I did. I received the People's 76 on June 19 as an additional exemplar.
Could you please, using People's 7, the photographs marked as 79, and People's 78, please explain to the court what variations you noted in this handwriting of Darrell McConnell, the signature of Darrell McConnell.
Yes, in making a comparison of the handwriting exemplars, we look for natural variations in the handwriting. We'll start with the Darrell, the slant, the side of the letters in relationship to each other, the spacing in between the letters, the way the letters are formed, the height in relationship to each other, the pen lifts, the beginning and ending strokes. Those are some of the handwriting that I saw in natural variations in the exemplars that I was provided.
Is there any doubt in your mind that the same person signed the Darrell McConnell in People's 72, 73, 77, and 76?
It was my opinion that the handwriting exemplars were signed by the same person.
And in order to make that comparison, did you examine the actual documents or the photograph?
I examined the actual documents.
Then did you examine the file copy of check number 580 provided to you by Deputy Mackey?
I had made a scanned copy of the file in order to use that as my handwriting comparison in question.
Do you have that photograph here now?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, I have what appears to be a photograph with the back of a check in the name of Daryl McConnell on it. May that be marked as People's Next in Order,
Yes, People's 80.
showing you People's 80. What is that?
This is an enlargement of the back side of check number 580 with the endorsement signature of Daryl McConnell.
How did you make this particular photograph?
I used the file that was supplied by the investigating officer, and I made a one-to-one reproduction of that file using a scanner. Then I enlarged it.
By 580, are you referring to People's number 75?
Yes, I am.
What do you mean by a one-to-one?
In order to make a proper handwriting comparison, we need to duplicate the exact conditions or come as close to them as we can. In this case, the original file of the check is 2 3/4 by 6 inches, and I merely made a photograph of that check to its exact size. The digital copy, you have to understand, is about 2% of its original size.
Looking at 75, the Xerox copy, is that a 100% representation of the check?
No, it is not.
How does it compare to the actual size of the check?
This is a copy that was supplied by the bank to the investigating officer, and it is approximately half size.
What are the different ratings for comparisons that your department employs in making a comparison?
Is by the writer should be our first. Probably by the writer is the second. May have been by the writer is the third. And then we have inconclusive, unable to identify or eliminate. And then it goes down the scale in reverse order.
Did you make a comparison of the scanned copy and those exemplars previously marked as 72, 73, 76, and 77?
Yes, I did.
And what opinion, or did you use any tools to make that comparison?
We have special machines inside of the questioned document section, and with the use of this technology, I was able to make one.
And were you able to render an opinion as to the handwriting or the person who signed Daryl McConnell on People's 72, 73, 76, and 77, and the person who wrote the endorsement on the check number 580?
Yes, I was.
And what is that opinion?
My opinion is that the writer of the endorsement signature on People's number 75 and 80 is probably written by the writer of the Daryl McConnell signatures on the exemplars provided People's 72, 73, 74, 77, and 76.
And what is the basis of that opinion?
Based on my training and experience in questioned documents, making a side-by-side comparison, looking for handwriting characteristics, similarities or dissimilarities, I was able to make that determination.
I have a couple more questions, and then perhaps we can recess for the cross.
Yes,
Could I finish this?
yes.
Did you notice anything about the spacing of the C, the MC, and then the C as compared to the check, People's 80, and the known exemplars, People's 72 and 73 and 74?
Yes, I do.
What did you note?
I noticed that on the exemplars that were provided, People's 72, 73, 76, 77, and 74, that there's a space between the capital letter M and the C in MC, and that is consistent throughout the exemplars that were provided. However, on the question endorsement signature, we do not have that spacing, and that is not a difference. That is merely a variation, and that is an explainable variation. When we sign our names in spaces limited, we have a tendency to compress our letters. In this case, McConnell being the longer last name, that would account for the reason that there is not enough spacing in that signature.
Thank you. What was your opinion as to whether or not the same person endorsed that check that signed the booking slip and the fingerprint cards?
May I have that question reread?
Yes, you may answer that.
It was my opinion that the person who signed the Darrell McConnell signature probably signed the endorsement signature on People's 80.
Is there any doubt in your mind that it was the same person?
I object. He has stated his opinion and expressed a probability.
The objection is overruled.
Any doubt in your mind?
As to who signed,
Who endorsed that check?
comparing it to these exemplars here.
Yes. Let me rephrase it.
Give him a chance to answer the question if he understands it.
I need some clarification. I am unable to be conclusive, not because of the limitations in the handwriting exemplars that were provided, but in the limitations in the questioned endorsement signature. I did not have the opportunity to look at the original document. That is the reason that I qualified the opinion that it was probably written by instead of is written by. Without having the original document to examine, you lose the fine detail in the handwriting. You also lose pen pressure.
So if you were provided the original check, would you be able to render such an opinion?
Objection.
What is the objection?
That calls for speculation in this particular instance.
Objection sustained.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. McNeil, cross-examine.
Good afternoon, Deputy Kavanaugh.
Good afternoon.
Is Deputy Mackey your superior in the Sheriff's Department?
No, she is not.
Do you know Deputy Sinclair?
Yes, I do.
Is he your superior?
No, he is not.
Do either of those persons that I mentioned hold a higher rank than you do in the Sheriff's Department?
No.
Deputy Kavanaugh, am I correct that you have been working as a questioned documents examiner for approximately 2 years?
3 years next January.
Is it also correct that in order to perform the type of work that you do not need a college degree? Is that correct?
You do not need a college degree to do the type of work that I do.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you have a college degree in that area?
Yes, I have a bachelor's, but not in questioned documents.
What is that degree in?
Criminal justice.
You were with the Sheriff's Department in another capacity for several years before being a questioned documents examiner. Is that correct?
Yes, I was a deputy sheriff assigned to various assignments within the department.
You were a patrolman and that type of function?
Yes, I have worked custody and patrol.
One day you decided that you wanted to be a questioned documents examiner and you applied for the job?
That is not correct. One day I decided I wanted to specialize in something, and I chose questioned documents.
How long before you actually became a questioned documents examiner did you decide that you wanted to specialize in questioned documents?
When I went to patrol, I decided that I would spend between 5 and 7 years in patrol and then decide to specialize in something.
My question is, how long before you actually became a questioned documents examiner did you decide that is what you wanted to do?
When I went to patrol, I decided that I wanted to specialize in something, any particular field. I was in patrol for 5 to 7 years, and then I decided to specialize in a particular field, and then I chose the field of handwriting and questioned documents examiner.
You decided that you wanted to be a questioned documents examiner about 9 years ago.
I decided that I wanted to specialize in a particular field 9 years ago. I did not choose handwriting until about 5 years into my patrol assignment.
I'm trying to put that into perspective. In relationship to today, how long ago did you decide you wanted to be a questioned documents examiner?
It was not a matter of me deciding to be a questioned documents examiner. It was a matter of being reassigned to the Scientific Services Bureau, questioned documents section. That process occurred about at the 7-year period in my career.
When you were assigned to that section, had you had any training? That is, now in the questioned documents division.
Questioned documents division?
Had you had any training or experience in questioned documents examining?
No, I did not.
Do you have to obtain some license to become a questioned documents examiner?
No.
So, then is it fair to say that you have had no formal training other than the on-the-job training and training with the FBI or CIA?
Yes. The FBI training was formal, and also at the Secret Service. That was all formal.
Is that like seminars?
No, 80-hour course in questioned documents examination.
Is there a license that one can obtain in the state of California to be a questioned documents examiner?
No, sir, not to my knowledge.
Are there any institutions that offer degrees of questioned documents examiner?
No, there is not, sir.
Deputy Kavanaugh, how many opinions have you rendered in different occasions on questioned documents?
I have examined and given opinions on thousands of cases in my 2.5 to 3 year period.
And the vast majority of those were testifying on behalf of the district attorney, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Have you ever testified in a private case? In other words, not on behalf of the government?
No, sir.
Would it be safe to say that all of your testimony has been in your official capacity as a member of the Sheriff's Department on behalf of law enforcement?
Yes, it would.
Have you ever had any private experience at all in questioned documents examining?
No.
You said before we broke that there was a difference between a variation and a difference. Do you recall that?
Yes.
What is the difference between, I shouldn't use the word difference, what distinguishes a difference from a variation?
Variation is a handwriting characteristic where one will make the same letter movement or same letter formation, and it will vary to some degree. A difference would be an entirely different way of forming that same letter or same character.
That would be a difference,
Yes, sir.
and one of them doesn't really matter in formulating the opinion as to whether or not who a particular writer is, right? Is that the difference that does not matter, or the variation that does not matter?
I don't quite understand your question.
Okay, are differences or variations of equal weight for a person like yourself in rendering an opinion?
Handwriting variations and handwriting differences are extremely important.
All right. Did you find any differences in the signature on the questioned document, that is, the check and the handwriting exemplars that you used?
No, sir, I did not.
May I direct your attention to the Y in Daryl on the questioned document?
I believe she has those.
Is this your packet?
I think it might have been in with
The clerk indicates that they are not over here.
sorry, they're here.
Thank you. Let me give you your packet of goodies.
Okay.
I'm now looking at People's Exhibit number 80. I'm looking at my copy of People's 80. Do you have that?
Yes, I do.
Look at the Y in Daryl. you notice that the Y is closed,
Yes. It looks like a letter G.
and in all of the exemplars that you compared to this question signature, were any of the Ys closed at the top?
In looking at the Ys in the exemplars, I noticed natural variation in the spacing between the tip of the Y, and if you look at the...
Deputy, I don't mean to be rude, but yes or no? Did you notice any of the Ys in the exemplars that you looked at, examples of known handwriting, were any of the Ys closed at the top?
No, they were not.
And would you please look at the same Exhibit 80 and look at the first N in McConnell?
Yes.
And do you see there is no, seems like an open N, almost like an R, right?
I see the beginning staff of the N very close to the connecting stroke of the O in that.
Do you see where the first line of the N goes up and come back down?
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes, I do. It is part of the letter O.
Is it true that you cannot say beyond a reasonable doubt that Darrell McConnell signed the question document?
Yes, that would be true.
I have no further questions.
I have some. What would you need in order to render the opinion?
In this case, I need the original back.
I move to strike. That still causes him to speculate what effect the original would have.
Objection overruled.
Why would you need the original document?
The original document would contain the fine details in the signature that I am lacking in the copies that I have been working with.
And would there be anything else that you could glean from the original document that would help you render an opinion beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes,
What is that?
the pen pressure involved in placing the signature on the paper.
Why, in your opinion, are the variations that you described not differences?
Because the handwriting variations that I described, I can find in the handwriting exemplars that were submitted to me for comparison.
Did you find any differences in the handwriting exemplars and the questioned document from the file?
I did not.
Where did you get the phrase, highly unlikely another writer was involved?
That is standard terminology that we use in the office.
Did I ever suggest that phrase to you?
No, you did not.
Why did you not include that phrase in your written report?
On some occasions I use it, and on other occasions I do not. No particular reason.
Do you have any indication that another writer was involved?
None.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Mr. McNeil?
Yes? One question, Mr. Kavanaugh. That phrase about highly unlikely to have been written by another person, is that contained somewhere in the literature on question documents examination?
No, sir.
That is something that you came up with after you talked to Ms. Hope. Is that true?
No, sir, it is not. It is a term that I use. Not only highly unlikely that another writer is involved, but when I say probably, I mean probably by that writer and no one else in the world.